Hi there, Chris, Chap in the Cap, Moto Legends. Today we're going to talk about a new boot from the British brand Belstaff. It's a super stylish short boot and it's called the Trialmaster Pro boot. Belstaff is a proper motorcycle company. They make proper motorcycle gear for proper motorcyclists, but clearly they have a fashion arm too. And I think more than anyone else, they're able to straddle motorcycling and fashion. So they produce a lot of gear that, whilst it's designed to work on the bike and do the business on the bike, it looks like the kind of gear that you might have bought on the street, as it were. This pair of boots is a case in point. The boot is called the Trialmaster Pro, and it does not look like a bike boot. I would term it something like, I suppose, an urban boot, and I think they're going to look fantastic worn under a pair of chinos or a pair of jeans. In terms of construction, the leather that they're made from is a fairly strong, fairly thick 1.2 to 1.4 millimeter full grain leather. We have here around the forefoot, we have a buckle adjuster. My feeling is that you're never going to use that. You could do, but I think it's really there more for show than functionality. Up the inside of the boot, we have a full zip. Now, when you have a boot with a membrane, a waterproof membrane, this boot doesn't have a waterproof membrane, but when you do have a boot with a waterproof membrane, the problem with a zip is that there'll be a gusset inside, a waterproof gusset, and what that means is you cannot open the boot particularly far. And ironically, what it means is many people buy a boot like that thinking, well, it's got a zip, it'll be easy to get in and out of, but it'll only open an inch or two, so it will make the boot a little bit easier to get in and out of, but normally not enough. You'll normally have to undo the laces as well. But because this boot does not have a membrane, it opens up completely. So anyone's going to be able to get their foot in and out of there. And if you're someone who sometimes has problems getting into your boot because you've got problems bending over, and I certainly find this is the case with me, the older I get, a boot like this with a zip and no membrane, it's going to be particularly easy to get in and out of. It's still a strong and tough boot. It's still a proper motorcycle boot, as is evidenced by the fact that we have a strong counter in the toe. That really is quite a firm counter. We've got the same in the heel, and we've got in the ankles, we've got cups in both ankles. What you don't get with this boot, and on one level it's a shame, there's no gear change pad, and clearly Belstaff have taken the decision that because they wanted this to look like a street boot, that wouldn't be appropriate. That does actually perform a role. If you're doing big miles and you're changing gear a lot, your toes can get very sore if you do not have a gear change pad. But I suppose I would take the view that the person who's going to buy this kind of boot is not going to be doing huge mileage. I think it's more an urban boot. It's more a boot for going out on a Sunday morning. You're not going to be doing huge miles. So I'm not sure that the lack of a gear change pad is a real deal breaker in this case. The outsole is by Vibram. That's as tough and as strong and as good a sole as you'll get on any boot. The beauty is you can buy them anywhere. So most boot repairers, cobblers will have a Vibram sole, so it's going to be easy to, once this is worn out, to replace it. Around the edge, this is very clever. There's genuine stitching here, which makes this boot look as though it's got a genuine Goodyear welted construction. I mentioned this in a recent video I did about the Held Saxton boot, how some boots try to copy this idea to make it look as though they've got a Goodyear welt. Some people do it quite badly. This stitching is just a plastic moulding. But on this boot, it's very cleverly done. That's a real stitch there. But this is still not a genuine Goodyear welted boot. The stitching is just for show. This doesn't mean that you've got a sandwich with an upper sole, a mid sole, and a piece of cork in between. So it doesn't have a genuine Goodyear welt construction. It's a look-alike. One level, it's a shame, but that would have put the price up of these boots quite considerably. Now, as I've mentioned, the boots have no membrane, so they're not going to be particularly waterproof. This is not, therefore, the kind of boot that you would buy if you were going to be commuting, but I don't think that anyone commuting would look at a boot like this. The upside of not having a membrane, however, is this boot's going to be nicer to wear in hot weather, because when it's hot, your foot sweats like all parts of the body. When you've got a membrane, that sweat cannot escape as easily. So a boot with a membrane over time will become a little bit stinky and sweaty and so on. But a boot that has no membrane is just going to be much easier. It's going to keep your foot much cooler. It's going to be nicer to wear in hot weather. In conclusion, this boot, I think it's about as simple as a motorcycle boot gets. It is super stylish. It comes from Belstaff. I think it's going to look fantastic, as I mentioned, with a pair of jeans or a pair of chinos, but it's still a pretty tough boot. Comes in this color, which is a kind of vintage brown, also comes in a flat black. So that was the Belstaff Trialmaster Pro boot, priced at £295. If you'd like to see more Belstaff gear, then visit the website motorlegends.com. But if you'd like to learn more about the boots, then if you click on one of the links on the screen, sometimes they're up there, sometimes they're down there, that will take you directly to the relevant page on the website. There you can check out the spec in a little bit more detail, you can check availability, and obviously if you like the boots, you can buy them there and then. When you buy from us, we try to make the process as simple, straightforward and risk-free as we possibly can. There's no delivery charge on any item of protective wear that you buy from us. Returns are totally free, and what's more, we give you a full 12 months in which to decide whether you do want to return something to us. We have the best price promise in the business. Now, John Lewis was rightly famed for its never knowingly undersold price promise, but we go one stage better. If you can find any retailer selling anything that we sell at a price that is lower than ours, we will beat that retailer's price by a further 10%. If the retailer is in the EU and not in the UK, we will match their landed price. Now, there are a few terms and conditions associated with the price beat, nothing particularly onerous, but if you are going to price beat us, I suggest you visit the website and check out what those terms and conditions are. In the future, if you would like to receive bulletins from us about new products, about product launches, then if you go to the website, at the top of every page, there's a piece of script that says newsletter sign up. Click on there, within seconds you'll be in business. If, however, you would prefer to get your information videographically, that is to say in this form, we would be simply delighted if you wanted to become a subscriber to a YouTube channel, and you can do that by clicking on the button below. Now, this is 2021. Last year, 2020, we gave away to a YouTube subscriber a Mutt 125cc motorbike. We had customized it a little bit to look like a Steve McQueen desert sled. This year, 2021, we're moving up market a little bit. We're going to be giving away a Fantic Caballero Scrambler, a 250cc machine. But instead of giving it to a YouTube subscriber, we're going to be giving it away to somebody who follows us on Facebook. We'll be giving away the bike just before Christmas this year. So if you want to stand a chance of winning this lovely little bike, then go over to Facebook and obviously follow us. I'd like to finish with a play for our little shop here at Guildford. We are about a mile from the centre of town, a mile from the railway station. The shop is small, as I've mentioned. It's got a small footprint, but it's attached to our warehouse where we have more than £2 million worth of merchandise arranged across 3 floors. Technically, that makes us the second largest motorcycle shop in the UK. But we think that we are far more than just the amount of merchandise we have here in the building. We're about service, we're all about personal fitting. If you want to check us out, visit Trustpilot. We have the highest 5-star ranking in the business. When you come and see us, we'll only serve you the finest elite Italian coffee or proper Yorkshire tea in a proper teapot. And who knows, if you're lucky, you might even get to sample one of Sean's mum's delicious motorcycle-shaped shortbread biscuits. Anyway, this has been Chris. I hope to talk to you again soon.